Grant Hardin is serving decades behind bars for murder and rape. In 2017, he pleaded guilty to the murder of a man who worked for the city's water department, shooting him in the head while he was seated in his work truck. The sister of Hardin's victim, also the mayor of the city of Gateway, speaking out after hearing of his escape.
First of all, 30 years wasn't enough. He should have got life, but things happened, and that's all he could get. This time, they need to throw away the key.
All right, so according to the Arkansas Department of Corrections, Hardin escaped from the North Central Unit in Calico Rock Sunday wearing a makeshift police uniform. But the department notes it was not DOC issued. That outfit, which is pictured here as he is seen on surveillance video leaving the prison as he was wheeling random pieces of wood through the secured Sallyport door. So the search is now in its second day. It is still ongoing. We have a lot to talk about here. So I'd like to welcome in retired NYPD detective and professor at John Jay College, David Sarni. David, great to see you again. There's a lot going on here. So I want to start with a news release from the prison that basically says Hardin wore a, quote, makeshift outfit designed to mimic law enforcement. It was part of his escape, but officials are saying that all uniforms and equipment right now are accounted for. So there's some pieces missing here. What is missing here for you?
Well, then thanks for having me. There's a lot of questions. The lapse in security you're going to see probably as a result of this, because he's able to leave. He left it. You know, we always look at the why and why at that moment. The weather was poor. How he had that makeshift uniform, how he's able to create it or find it or whatever. I guarantee you they're looking for the visitor logs of who he's met with, when the last time his cell was checked. These are things going to be looked at post-escape. Now you're going to look at as to, you know, how was he able to get something like that and able to walk out the door? He is he has knowledge in corrections. He was a former corrections officer. He's been a police chief. So he knows the ins and outs. And unfortunately, we see a lot with prisons, and we're seeing this with a lot of corrections facilities. The lack of manpower, the lack of, sometimes it's because of the lack of manpower, you see a lapse in security. You know, people walking out, and he's walking out of the Sallyport, which is an entranceway that is going to be guarded, is going to be observed. But he looks like he's working, and they took it as such. So now you're going to see probably a revision of security policies for the prison. But now the question is was he helped? How did he had 20 minutes until he was found missing. So now you're going to look at, was someone outside that assisting him to leave? Because if he's leaving, he's got 20 minutes escape route. He may have had the plan for the escape, but what was the plan after the escape? So that's something you're going to be looking at. Was someone also involved in this? You know, outside of this, did he have a plan to go after this? So this is what they're going to be looking at.
Yeah, and in this escape, because, you know, right now, obviously, we're following a few different escapes, but in this one, a 20-minute head start, you know, compare that to New Orleans, where they had 7-8 hours. But right now, authorities are saying that it is, according to them, unclear how he escaped. David, is that acceptable to you, especially in this day and age when we are talking about everything being monitored or supposed to be monitored?
Yeah, this is the problem we have. And this comes back to security lapse. You know, what's the policy of the agency when people leave the port or enter the facility? And this is the one thing. You know, you have him leaving the facility. He never went in, and nobody's, you know, who was, I don't want to say asleep at the wheel, but where was the mistakes made? And it's going to be one, obviously, identification procedures when someone leaves the facility. You know, he's leaving with something in that looks like a uniform that everyone believes is accessible and law enforcement. How did he get something like that? Did he make it? I mean, where did this all come from? That's what they're looking at. They're saying they account for all equipment. I can't say they do or don't. You know, how old is this uniform? Has this uniform been in existence for a long period of time? Did he have some sort of assistance within the system to let him walk out the door? Because this is a person who is a dangerous person. He's known law enforcement. He's been involved in law enforcement for a lot of his adult life. He's a convicted criminal, a convicted murderer, and a convicted rapist. So he's not a stupid person. But we're looking at is, you know, he saw opportunity. So how did he see this opportunity to do it?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.